of our goals here on Kababayan LA is not just to connect you among Filipinos here in Los Angeles, but also Filipinos in the Philippines. We also want to have you achieve your American dream, and that is why we have from time to time attorneys Alison Aquino and Richard Lowe joining us on the show to answer your immigration questions. Hello and welcome to Kababayan LA.
Hi, Janelle.
Tomorrow, on Friday, April 1st, is the first day of filing for H-1B visas. Would you like to talk a little bit about that, Alison?
Yes. The window to start filing H-1Bs, as you point out, is April 1. And immigration, in years past, had been having the maximum number of applications received on that date. This year, it's still anticipated that there will be plenty of room for individuals to start applying. There are some things that need to be done with the Department of Labor before an application can be filed by the Immigration Service. So individuals can actually start proceeding with the preparation of applications if they already have a sponsor.
Even before April 1st. Now, for
Absolutely.
those that are watching right now and say, for example, they get a sponsor next week or second week of April or third week of April, will there still be time to process it?
There will be. Last fiscal year, immigration ran out of H-1Bs just in January. So there was a good 9 months.
Right. But that's not the norm, right, Richard?
It hasn't been in recent years, but we've gotten a little bit more time this year, and we expect that, again, we'll have a little bit more time in the coming year, yes.
All right. And before the show today, we actually tweeted some people if they have questions for us, or we asked people to email us with questions, and we have this one email. I guess this is a question from MJ of Los Angeles, and it says, can children who are U.S. citizens by birth be deported if their parents are illegal immigrants?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
If you are a U.S. citizen, then you are a U.S. citizen, and there is no way for the government to take away your citizenship. The only time a person can lose their citizenship, well, there's a couple of times, but the only time you can lose your citizenship is if you become a naturalized U.S. citizen, and you lied or committed fraud or did something else, and that enabled you to become a U.S. citizen. Otherwise, the fact that you're a U.S. citizen and then either your parents or even yourself, let's say you commit murder, you become a U.S. citizen on Tuesday, on Wednesday, you go and kill 18 people.
Right.
They still can't deport you, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, before we proceed, that's the number on the screen. If you have any questions, attorneys Alison Aquino and Richard Lowe are here to answer those immigration questions. Anything from work visa, spousal visa,
anything immigration related.
Anything immigration related. Okay, just a follow-up question to that question earlier. I think there's news recently about this Guatemalan girl. She is an American citizen, was born here, but they found out that her parents were illegal immigrants, and then she went back. I guess it was through her own, right? But she's young. She's about, how old was she? 6, maybe? Yeah?
Well, a lot of times what will happen is that the parents will be removed for whatever reason, right? And you have a minor child, and the government will take into consideration the best interest of the child. Are there people here in the United States who can take care of the child?
Right.
And if she has nobody here, then maybe it's better for her to be with her parents in Guatemala. But they're not deporting her. They're simply making arrangements for her to be with her parents, and she's obviously a U.S. citizen and can return to the United States at any time.
Is it not possible for the parents to stay here and apply for something like, you know, for humanitarian reason or whatever, to take care of the child growing up here who's a U.S. citizen? Is that possible?
There are some possibilities, but it's not guaranteed. And so there are situations where an individual can apply to remain in the United States if they do have a U.S. citizen child. For example, they can just be petitioned when they turn, parents can be petitioned when the child turns 21, or if the parents in that question had been in the United States for, say, more than 10 years, then they could try to seek permanent residency in the U.S. based on hardship to the child, as Richard was pointing out.
Okay. Manuel is our first caller on the line, joining us from Ontario. Magandang hapon sa'yo, Manuel.
Magandang hapon din.
Yes, what is your question, please?
No, this is regarding my daughter, who was still minor when I was petitioned by my dad. But now that I have a green card, my daughter is now over 21. What's going to happen next?
Well, first of all, I don't know if your daughter was already born at the time that you obtained your own green card and were petitioned through your dad.
Actually, I brought her with me here in the United States. At that time, I only have a tourist visa. Oh, a H-1 visa. So my daughter has an H-4 visa, now that I have a green card, she's over 21. What's going to happen next? Could I petition her, or is she going to be carried with me?
Yes. Thank you for that question. Go ahead.
Well, I think part of it is determining first whether or not there's any way that the child could be still processed under the green card, under the petition that was petitioned by the father.
Right.
For the father. If there's a possibility under the Child Status Protection Act that she could somehow be linked up and still preserve her age.
And that has to do with the dates,
possible.
right?
That has to do with the dates.
Okay.
Now, if that's not possible, if she's aged out and there's simply no way to keep her on that petition, then he will just have to file a petition for her directly.
All right. We'll be answering more questions. That's the number on the screen. Write it down or keep calling if you can't get through. We have so many calls right now, and I understand you may be getting through a busy line, but we are trying to get to as many questions as we can when we return from work. Don't go away.
Do you have a legal problem but don't know where to turn? The Asian Pacific American Legal Center may be able